It's that time again.
Yep. We are Team Wester.
And you are the most important thing to us.
Team Wester
Podcast. It's all about the team.
Welcome back to another edition of the Team Wester podcast. I'm Brad Gelber, joined by my co-host extraordinaire, running back Ray Davis. Ray, you're back again.
I'm back. Hopefully I keep coming back.
So we have a very special guest, as is often the case. This week we're joined by wide receiver Joshua Palmer from the Bills. Joshua, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you guys for having me.
So kind of cool, like we were talking about before we started recording, gives us sort of an insider look at what's been going on with the team. And last time we recorded, we were joined by Spencer, kind of broke down how things have been going after the crazy week 1 win. And things have continued, obviously, to go really well for you guys so far. So 4-0 now. I was fingers crossed when we were getting ready for the podcast, we would come out of it with a win, and we did. So all good. So we're going to get into that a little bit later in the show, talking about the state of the team and how things are going. But before we do that, I wanted to kind of get to know you a little bit better, Joshua, because obviously you're a newer face here to the team. You've been around for a while in the league, but newer to Buffalo. So just like looking at your journey, one of the things I thought was cool, and I remember when you signed here, it was sort of like a homecoming for you a little bit. You're from just across the border up north there. So Brampton, Ontario, right, is where you're originally from. So that's the greater Toronto area there. So only like 2 hours from here. So what's it been like kind of coming back home, if you will, to get to play so close to home?
It's cool. I mean, I get a lot of love just from people from Toronto, from Canada. It's a lot easier for my family to come to games, and it's a lot easier for me to visit family. It's an hour 45 with no traffic.
Sure.
But it's still very, very much so closer than when I was in California.
Right.
I've been having a lot of family come to games, probably averaging like 6-7 coming to a game.
Yeah.
So it makes it a lot easier, a lot closer to friends, versus being on the West Coast. Even just traveling, being closer on the East Coast, a lot easier to get to places that I want to get to.
Yeah.
But no, it's been fun.
Yeah. One thing I was going to ask you too, I had written down here, was just there's probably good, not that it's bad, but do you get additional pressure of like, hey, I want to come to the game from family and friends? Maybe like you got to figure out the ticket situation.
No, it's actually very easy. A lot of my family bought season tickets.
Okay, cool.
So it makes it a lot easier on me. I'm not Ticketmaster.
Yeah, for sure.
So it makes it a lot easier. And then I have like a carved out amount of tickets that I could give out to family. But the rest of the time, people just come in, they just buy their tickets, come to the house, hang out for a little bit. But they make it very easy, very, very easy.
Yeah. Do you think like mentally being somewhat closer to home and having your family and friends come, like being on the field, does it feel a little bit better knowing that there's family in the stands, or just that good vibe, good spirit of after the game you can go and just spend time with them and get away from ball, rather than in LA it was mostly just a phone call, I'm assuming, right? Like, is it good to see them in person?
Well, though my family came to almost every game in LA, so I was always around family. It's just a lot easier for them to get to games now instead of taking a 5-hour flight. Yeah. But I always had some sort of family at a game for a home game, whether it was like close friends, cousins, my parents, my sisters. I've always had support. Like maybe like 3 games, I didn't have people at but I've always had people. But now I just have more.
Yeah, for sure. Perspective-wise, from being from like the Toronto area, the greater Toronto area, growing up, like, were you aware of the Bills and football kind of over here? Because I know for a while they had sort of like the cross-border series where they'd play a game in Toronto for a while. And obviously we're the closest NFL team to Toronto. But was that sort of, were you like aware of the Bills growing up, or was it less about kind of the NFL at that point for you type of thing?
I was aware of the Bills. I didn't really watch much football, so I didn't really know. So I still don't know a lot of history of the game and players who played in Buffalo, or even just around the NFL period, just because I didn't watch a lot of football. I played basketball and soccer. I played football, but I didn't watch it. It wasn't something I watched a lot.
Sure.
But yeah, the Bills were always something that you would see.
Sure.
That either you had friends that were always watching games, or you would see a flag here and there. Mm-hmm. And I think I went to one preseason game when I was younger.
Okay.
Don't really remember the details about it, to be honest. I don't even remember where I watched it.
Yeah.
I don't even think it was in Buffalo. I think it was somewhere else.
Okay.
But now I'm learning a lot more about the fan base and about how close they are with Canada.
Yep.
Because I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I moved when I was 14, 15, so
Sure.
I was very well removed.
Yep. Yeah, that I do want to get into that in a minute here too. Speaking to that though, like you said, I know you played basketball. I think I read that you ran track as well when you were younger. And then, we've talked about this before with guests. Do you think that it's beneficial for an athlete to be like multi-versed and doing different sports when they're growing up versus a singular focus on like, okay, I'm only going to learn football and that's going to be my thing. I'm going to try to make it to the NFL. Do you think it's good to kind of get your feet wet in a bunch of different sports, or do you think it sort of depends on the person?
I think it teaches you how to move around. It brings a lot of creativity to your game, whatever sport you play, just because you play different sports. Yeah. You learn how to what's the word I'm looking for? You know how to react in different situations, just because you may have played soccer. Sure. Or I may be better at others at tracking the ball because I used to play goalkeeper. Yeah. So I might know how to place my hands to make hard catches or time jumps, corner kicks, timing up the jumps, those things play a role, especially in soccer, if a guy's coming down and it's just you and it's just me and the forward, yep. Timing up when to block it, tracking the ball with my eyes, basketball, timing up jumps, crossovers, all that stuff ties in. And I feel like the more you play or do different things, it only helps with what you do professionally or what you really care about.
Sure. So, growing up, like we said, you did other things. And then I was reading how you kind of played both wide receiver and DB, and you won 2, it said, JV football titles. So if that's accurate, but then it talked about you sort of played for a couple different teams in the Ontario Football Conference. Is that sort of at the point that you decided you wanted to kind of focus on football, or was that a little later where you did you know at that point that was kind of when you were ready to dive fully into that?
Probably going into my sophomore year, I knew I was because I stopped playing football for a while.
Okay. And
I picked it back up in high school. And then going into my sophomore year, I knew that I was going to pursue football mainly, so I dropped every other sport.
Okay. And that's, I think, like when you said at that point you ended up transferring to school in Fort Lauderdale, and that's when you were only 15 when you
right.
came to the U.S., right?
Right, 14 turning 15.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what was that like, I think, too? Because, we've talked about your journey, Ray, and everyone has sort of a different journey growing up, but, that you probably have to grow up a little faster when you decide to pursue something and you change, move countries away from your family and everything at that age. So what was that experience all of a sudden to go from Canada down to Florida and you're kind of all in on football at that point?
It wasn't that tough. I mean, I lived with family.
Yep.
That I always visited at least once a year.
Okay.
So it's not like it was people I didn't know.
Sure.
The hardest was just transportation to and from school. Like I took the local bus. Okay. Just because the school bus doesn't run that late after practice.
Sure.
And it doesn't run that early to get to workouts.
Yeah.
So
yep.
It just never worked out. So I took the local transit, and that was probably the hardest part, honestly. And just having to become better because I was playing with top guys. The competition was tough. Played with a lot of good players, and I had no choice but to get better.
Was there ever a moment where there was doubt, like you were around a lot of good players? Like, did you ever be like, okay, maybe I'm not this good, or maybe I am this good, and it's like I can compete with these guys?
I don't think there was doubt because I knew I was good enough to be there, but there was a moment where I was like, I need to get better.
Yeah.
Like I need to hurry up and get better.
Sure.
What was that moment?
When I first got there. The first day. The first day.
You couldn't even get no feet wet. You just first day.
The first day I knew. I said, I have to get better. And over time it came. Just I never got down on myself.
Sure.
I didn't play a lot the first year I was there, so that was hard. Yeah. That was a hard pill to swallow, but I was still getting recruited just because scouts come to St. Thomas Aquinas to scout,
right.
And they come to practice. There's scouts at every practice.
Yep.
So that's where a lot of guys get offers from, even if they don't play in the games, because they're like, you're going up against the best guys. So why would we watch a game? We're going up against really nobody.
Right.
But you still want to play at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So that was the hardest. And then my senior year, I did very well and started. So
yeah. So looking at that, I know it was saying how you were a 3-star recruit and you initially committed to Syracuse, which obviously is within, people here are familiar with Syracuse before your senior year. But then after your senior year, that was when you ended up signing to play with Tennessee. So kind of what was that like for you, just deciding to kind of switch up for that? And, obviously I'm sure you feel like you made the right decision for you.
Before you answer, we got a little beef because I'm a Vandy guy. And you went to Tennessee, so I just had to put that out there off rip. But go ahead.
I thought Ray was being serious.
No. Syracuse, Tennessee. Go ahead. You can finish.
I got you.
I got to rep my doors.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Of course.
No, I just knew Tennessee was the right place for me.
Yeah.
It felt very much like, it didn't feel like Brampton where I was from, but it was like kind of suburban. It was like more rural.
Sure.
But it was calm. There wasn't a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
I knew a couple guys that were there. There was a teammate from St. Thomas that was going as well.
Yep.
And it just seemed like the best opportunity. Again, I didn't know football. I didn't know college football. So when I got the Tennessee offer, I didn't really know, people were saying that's a great offer, like SEC. And I said,
okay.
I don't know. Like, I got an offer from Duke, and I was like, this is big because I know basketball.
Right,
That's why I would say, this is a big school. Like, I don't know if their football team was garbage at the time.
Right.
But yeah, everyone around me was just saying this is a great, this is the conference you want to play in.
Yeah.
So that's what I do.
Yeah.
Do you feel, just hearing you talk a little bit about what Brampton was like in Tennessee, being now here in Buffalo, do you kind of get the same vibe a little bit
As
from
Tennessee.
the area? Yeah.
It's Tennessee. I mean, a lot. Yeah, it feels the same as back when I was in Tennessee.
Yeah, I know it's something a lot of players talk about is sort of that college game day feel a little bit for an NFL city. Being Buffalo is different in that regard because you get that sort of same passion and energy from the fans that's similar to college.
Yeah, it's crazy. I heard that this Sunday, after the game, someone said this reminds me of college a little bit, and I mean, just adults are just more passionate a little bit. But I love it.
So then you ended up in college. You played in all 12 games your freshman year. You became a starter your sophomore year. And then your senior year was shortened due to COVID, which was similar to what we were talking to Spencer about. But, at that point, did you kind of have – I guess I wanted to ask you, when was the moment when you were like, okay, I know I'm going to play in the NFL? Because, you had that moment maybe early on. You knew you had a chance to go to college and play. But when was that moment kind of in your career when you were like, okay – I think I can do this and make it to the NFL? Going into
my junior year.
Okay.
Just my coach said it to me.
Yeah.
T. Martin. T. Martin was my receiver coach. And he was like, at the time it was Jawan Jennings and Marquez Callaway and I that were starting receivers. And he just told me straight up, there's no reason why you can't get drafted after this year. There's absolutely no reason why you can't. And then I think that's what kind of sparked it. And then I just started training and going hard. And then after my junior year wasn't really anything to brag about. It wasn't really a great year. A lot of quarterback changes throughout my entire career at Tennessee, period. But I think that's when I realized I can go. And then my senior year, of course, short with COVID, more quarterback issues, and I just tried to make the best of it.
I know you asked Spencer this when we talked about the COVID year, but did that make it more challenging for you because you wanted a chance to sort of showcase yourself senior year, or were you sort of already in the mindset you kind of knew you were going to be going into the draft anyway at that point?
Yeah, I was going to go regardless. I wasn't going to stay, even when guys that stayed for COVID year. I knew I wasn't staying.
Yep.
But it was just putting my best foot forward and trying to make the best of these 10 games.
Yeah. Yep.
I knew the guys I was going to go up against, so I was just going to, whatever happened, that was going to happen. The Senior Bowl definitely helped a lot. It helped a lot because there was no combine that year.
Sure.
So everyone all the scouts came to the Senior Bowl.
Yeah.
So that was huge, and I had a very good Senior Bowl. So
to bring up the Senior Bowl, I think it's kind of like going back to the high school question of when you walked in first day, you said, okay, I got to get better, right? Mm-hmm. Now walking into the Senior Bowl where this is considered all the top, seniors, prospects or top seniors. Did you have another moment of I need to get better, or was it I'm here, this is nothing kind of away?
The second one.
I'm here, I could do this.
It was, The Senior Bowl wasn't really anything like.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't have that thought. Where it was like, oh, I need to get better. I was killing.
You knew it.
Yeah, I don't really talk much about. I don't really talk like that much often. Like you don't hear me talk about how the type of player I think I am. But Senior Bowl is already finished, so and you could see it for yourself. Like I'm not lying.
Yeah.
So I had a very, very good Senior Bowl, and I think that helped me get drafted.
Yeah.
And especially playing in the SEC, going up against those guys, that helped me get drafted. You know, Coach Staley would tell me he would watch DB film, but he kept seeing me on the DB film that he was watching at the DBs, and it was like, who's this guy?
Yeah.
And then,
That's cool. So then obviously you were drafted in the 3rd round by the Chargers. I thought something was interesting. It sort of talked about you were the number 1 rated Canadian prospect. I don't know exactly how many Canadian prospects there are every year for the NFL, but did you? What was it like getting chosen by the Chargers? Did you sort of know about that team? I know you didn't know a ton about the NFL, or history of it, but like, was that a destination that you were like excited about, or knew they were interested in you type of thing, or you were just going to go wherever called your name and work hard type of thing?
No, I didn't know that Chargers were interested because I didn't talk to them
during
that pre-draft process. People would just tell me, oh, you want to go to any team is good besides New York and LA just because of taxes.
Sure.
So then I would say, oh, okay. Like, I guess I don't want to go to those 2 states.
Yep.
And I ended up going there. Yeah. And I was just happy that they chose me, and I was going to do whatever I could to prove them right. I wasn't really interested in proving other teams wrong because I didn't really care. Sure. I don't know why I'm proving them wrong. They didn't want me, so.
Right. Yeah.
I don't care much about that.
Sure.
It was just proving wherever I am, I just want to do well and prove whoever I am right. The team, the teammates, the organization. That's just really what, and be a good example, for my family, for my religion. It's the most important thing to me.
Sure. So you played your rookie year. It said you played in 17 games and you ended up starting 5 of them. And then you had like one of your best statistical seasons your second year in the NFL. And then you ended up coming to Buffalo, obviously, this past March. You signed a 3-year deal to come here. So I wanted to ask you, I know we sort of talked briefly about what's it been like coming here, kind of being near home, but what's it like kind of switching to a new team after you played your whole career with the Chargers and now you came to Buffalo as a free agent, but what's sort of the change been getting to know a whole new team and new city and all that sort of thing?
It's not hard, honestly. Yeah. I think I can adapt. Mm-hmm. I think God's given me the ability to adapt. So alhamdulillah, and the players make it easy to adapt too. Like, it's not like, I feel like once you play enough in this NFL, it's like a fraternity, and guys know what guys like. I might not know guys' stories, but you can kind of if they made it, they went through something, and if they're here, they're going through something. Yeah. So I think it's not much. It's not very different, from guy to guy. Like we all go through stuff. So I think it makes it a lot easier to relate and get along with people.
For sure. And we talk a lot about Josh Allen on this show. Obviously, he's part of West Terry's, everyone in Buffalo talks about Josh. But, I have to imagine that you had some interest in wanting to play with him when you came here. You had another good quarterback at the Chargers in Justin Herbert. So what's sort of been like the adjustment or, the excitement about coming to a new city and then getting to play with Josh now? What's that been like?
Yeah, I didn't know much about the Bills playing in LA because they're not in our division.
Yep.
So, and we didn't watch a lot of film of our opponents playing the Bills because a lot of those opponents didn't play Bills.
Yep.
And I don't really watch a lot of TV.
Sure.
So I'm not really into the media and hyping about stuff.
Yep.
But of course, who Josh Allen is.
Yeah.
Coming here, I was very much excited. I was excited.
Yeah.
I don't really compare. I don't compare just because I was with the Chargers for 4 years and I've only been here for a few months.
Yep.
So it's hard to compare. But regardless, I'm happy. I'm happy where I am. So I think that's what ultimately counts.
For sure. So anyway, like we said, you came to Buffalo. I thought that it was interesting because even when I was talking to our production crew about having you on, I just said Josh, and they got confused for a second. They didn't know if I meant Josh Allen or who. So has there ever been any confusion in the offense? Like, do you have a nickname that you go by, or you just say, are you Joshua and he's Josh?
Yeah, they call me Joshua. I like to be called Joshua.
Yep.
But that's also something that separates us. and that's how I know who they're talking to.
Yeah.
They'll call Josh,
Yep.
Josh, and they'll
Yep.
call me Joshua,
Okay.
or they'll call me Five,
Yeah. Okay.
Sometimes I just go Palm.
Palm, or they call me Palm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just go
Yeah.
Palm.
Yeah. Okay. And then I guess like what's it been like learning a new offense with Joe Brady since you got here too? Because I don't know how drastically like scheme wise and things it's different from what you were doing with the Chargers, but seems like you're pretty caught up to speed at this point. But what's it been like kind of getting up to speed?
OTAs was where I was putting in most of the work trying to learn it, and then eventually during camp you're repping the same plays over and over and over again, and you play in this league for a little bit, and it's easier to memorize. It's easier, just concepts. Every playbook's almost exactly the same.
Sure.
It's just
Verbiage.
and it's just the verbiage is different. So you just have to understand the verbiage. But if you can memorize like that's the concept, just remember what it's called, and you're fine.
I think that goes like even like what he was talking about, like adaptability, kind of being able to adapt to things, right, and adapt to your environment. But a playbook and understand, okay, I'm trying to catch up to guys who know this playbook. Let me go be around them. Let me go learn how they comprehend things. So I think being the vet you are to come in, work hard, learn the playbook, to now it's like it's probably like easy to you now,
Yeah.
where it's, hey, I know this, I know what Joe's thinking, I know what Josh wants here, and we kind of saw that in the Hard Knocks, right? Like y'all got a scene where it's like y'all were working on that outside fade, and it was a couple times like y'all both were like, I want it here, maybe here, and then the third rep y'all got it, and then we kind of seeing it transition to the season. So it's been pretty cool to see too.
What about the room? Obviously, you get to know guys on your old team. You come to a new team, and there's some new faces in the wide receiver room this year. Obviously, you got Khalil Keon's in his second year, Curtis Samuel's in his second year with the team, and then a guy you know pretty well, Elijah Moore from your high school days. So what's that been like, kind of getting to team up with him again and get to know some of these other guys on the team?
The guys are cool.
Yeah.
Again, they make it easy. Everyone has their own personalities. The room is full of a lot of different personalities, for sure. But at the end of the day, everybody respects each other. We all respect our differences. So it's easy. I come into work knowing it's going to be the same. Like the days are long and the same, but conversations will be different. You can always look forward to someone saying something stupid and laughing, or someone doing something funny. Yeah.
Do you did you and Elijah sort of stay close in your time since high school, or did you kind of like reconnect since you've been together again?
We weren't really that close in high school, just because
Okay.
we were on our two different paths.
Okay.
He was a year younger than me. I was focused on trying to go to school. He was focused on just trying to play.
Yep.
So we didn't really talk much, and I lived far from the school, so it's not like I was always around guys. But we would text every now and then, I'd congratulate him on a game, or he'd hit me up about something. And then coming here, it was cool, because anytime I played him, we'd always say what's up.
Yeah.
But coming here, definitely we've become a lot closer.
Cool. One of the things I wanted to ask you too was, in terms of, Buffalo, we talk a lot about the food here, right? Like that's a topic that comes up a lot. So any favorite wing spots that you've tried out so far? I'm sure you've got asked this like a million times since you came to Buffalo.
I actually haven't tried any wing spots yet.
No?
No.
Hey.
No, I haven't.
I'm still trying to figure out my wing spot here, so
Yeah.
I can't give no suggestions
No.
when I.
No.
I mean, Josh Allen did just give us his top three again.
Yeah,
What is
I
it?
saw that.
Barbell,
Yep, that
anchor
was
bar, wing nuts, anchor
Yep.
bar. Yeah, so.
I think
There you
I
go.
think there was another one he always mentions that's like an under.
mulberry.
Yes,
He
yes,
loves
that's the
mulberry.
one.
He does
That
love
no one
mulberry.
ever brings that one up.
I did have some Trey White spicy barbecue
Okay.
flavor yesterday. They're pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
So you guys, obviously I said we would get back to this, but 4-0. So, congratulations on that. A lot of hard work goes into that. And I know maybe you guys aren't thrilled with every aspect of the game. There's always room to get better, but being 4-0 is all that really matters at the end of the day. So, we've talked about this before, Ray, but in terms of staying humble and not getting too far ahead of yourselves, how do you guys condition yourself to just, all right, next up's New England and just another week, we just got to keep rolling so you don't get, too far ahead of yourself at this point?
You just focus on what you need to improve on. I don't think anybody ever comes out of a game happy, whether you win or lose. There's always something that ticks you off, that you want back, that you could have done better. The win just makes it easier to swallow.
Sure.
But I don't remember the last time I had a game where I was like, I went 100%. I was perfect on everything, and I didn't go back and watch something where I was like, dang.
Yeah.
So I think if everybody thinks that way, if everybody is always going back to, yeah, we won, but I think that's the difference, between this team and maybe other teams. I'm not sure, but some teams are like, yeah. Some teams might be like, yeah, we won, but I think here in Buffalo it's like, we won, but.
Right. Because there's that sort of that culture that's been established where you almost not expect to, well, you want to win every game, but you sort of, it's like business as usual versus just an over celebration over one game type of thing.
Yeah, I think it's just a standard in the way we approach things, from the coaching staff to the players. Like, we all just know we want to get out of this, and it's like, if we want to compete and continue to be good, we have to fix the small things, because the small things become the bigger things later down the line. And I bet being in the NFL for a while that you've seen that, you've experienced how small things that you think we'll let it, and then it just becomes an issue, whether it's ball security or anything, etc.
Yeah,
I think every player is chasing that perfect game.
Yeah.
Like golf.
Yeah.
You hit it right one time, you're like, if only I could just hit it like that every time.
Really? I compare it to baseball a little bit. Like, you throw a perfect game, you want every strike to be a strike.
Yeah.
But golf is the same too.
Yeah, because for routes especially, like, it's all footwork, it's all coordination and like rehearsing. What do you call it when dancers, like, choreography?
Yeah.
So you're just looking to hit that mark, like, every time. Like, I hit my steps perfect on this every time.
Everything.
That's what you're aiming for every game. When you don't, it's like, I had a good game, but.
So one thing too, I found interesting, just kind of looking at your career stats at this point. So far, you've had, if this is correct, one career playoff game so far, right? Since you've been in the NFL?
That I've played in.
Yep.
Yeah.
So for you coming to Buffalo, obviously kind of the standard of late has been, success in making it into the postseason. Obviously not all the way like we'd like, but pretty far. So I'm sure that contributed to wanting to get a chance to play in some more playoff games, hopefully.
Yeah, for sure. We played in one game and it had a pretty bad ending. But no, I look forward to it. I look forward to being in the playoffs. I know my preparation is not going to change much, because if I told you now I'm going to prepare even better for the playoffs, then I'm doing the team a disservice right now.
Sure. Good point.
So, yeah, I'm just excited to see what's going to happen.
Yeah. And like I mentioned, this weekend's New England, so another divisional game, 3 pretty early in the season there. You guys are already sort of taking a step ahead of the competition in terms of just win-loss record at this point. New England's 2-2, I think, now after yesterday, and the Jets and the Dolphins played tonight are both 0-3, so someone will get their first win of the season. But again, I know none of that really matters in that it's a week-to-week league, and you got to win your division games to make the playoffs. We always talk about that. Win the conference first is the first step. So preparing for a divisional opponent, though, a little extra there for you guys, like in terms of just energy, or it's exactly the same as any other week?
Nah, I think it's the same.
Same.
Yeah, it's the same. I think you take it one day at a time, man. You're worried about being in that moment. Like, I'm just worried about this podcast right now. And then when I walk back in the building, I'm worried about my job and what I got to control.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't really care much for who we're playing, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I don't know I didn't know we're playing the Patriots until today. Like, I don't watch the schedule. I don't check off who we just played.
Yep.
I couldn't tell you who we play after the Patriots.
Sure.
I don't.
It's probably better. It's probably better for you guys to stay in the moment, and let the fans worry about that sort of thing too. I guess just in wrapping up, Ray, and for you too, I wanted to ask you, obviously being in the running back room, what's it been like seeing James sort of take that next step? I know, obviously there was a lot made about him signing his contract and the holdout, that sort of thing. And then now that he's here, sometimes I think that the worry is that a player will sort of fall off once they sign a deal or whatever. And it seems like he's kind of hit, another stride. I know he got a game ball, I think yesterday after the game, for breaking a franchise record for his eighth straight game with a touchdown. So what's that been like, seeing kind of like your teammate in the running back room kind of take that next step?
It's been cool. I mean, you're watching history, you know,
Yeah.
be made, right? Like, and James is such a nonchalant guy,
Yeah.
and he barely kind of speaks. So it's like to watch history be made, and him like, not like, I wouldn't say he doesn't celebrate the success, but
Sure.
he's so humble that like it's just, hey, it's on to the next. Like I want to make sure that like what can I do better to improve my game. So to watch him just do the things that he do, it's special. And again, like we got a special room, we got a special team, and to see that like he's doing it and it's setting up the pass game. Like we're putting 8 in the box,
Yep.
so it's helping them, and it's
Yep.
vice versa. Keon, Josh, or you know Khalil or whoever has a good game in the pass game, you're only helping James
Sure.
out because in their soft cover. I mean, you know, soft coverage, all that stuff. So to see both work hand in hand, where you got 3-headed monsters, Josh, the running back room, and then obviously again the receiver room. It's cool. It's cool to see.
Yeah.
I love watching James, man.
Yeah.
It's so effortless with him, and
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Another aspect of your game, though, too, I did want to ask you about was obviously being a little bit more involved even in the return game for special teams of late, too. I know there was, Codrington was inactive yesterday. So is that something you just are always kind of mentally prepared to be more involved in that side of things, depending on who's active or what you're called upon to get in there?
Nah, I'll just show up. I
Yeah.
got my hard hat, my
Oh,
lunch
you're kicking,
pail.
too?
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
kicking if
man.
they need you?
Whatever they need me, I just go out there and do my job. And,
Yeah.
I continue to be blessed and humbled that I'm here and I get to put on a helmet each and every day. So whether I'm on the field, I'm not on the field, or whether I'm watching James dominate, I think I'm taking something out of it,
Yeah.
so it's a good thing.
For sure.
Yeah.
Joshua, thank you for joining us today. It was cool to get to talk to you a little bit, get to know you better. I think we're all excited about what the future holds here for the team this season, and best wishes for the rest of your season.
Thank you guys for having me too.
Yeah, of course. And Ray, of course, as always, thank you for taking the time. I know he's a busy guy, and last time I said, you were like, hopefully I'll be back. And I was like, oh, you'll be here every podcast.
I'm back. I'm going to say it every time. Hopefully I'll be back. We got to keep the people on their toes. They don't know if I'll be back or I won't.
Yeah. So next, we'll surprise you with who's coming on next. Got a couple things in the works. But as always, for Joshua Palmer and Ray Davis, I'm Brad Gelber. Thank you for joining us on another edition of the Team Western podcast.